Welcome to Blazing Apostles. This is our video podcast where we're going to talk about testimonies. We've decided that our Blazing Apostle podcast should be more about how God interacts with us. Therefore, we're going to turn it into a testimony podcast where we're going to share with you all the things that God has done for us over the last 40 odd years, and not only has done things for us in the past, but also is doing now in the present. A lot of people talk about God in the past a lot in their Christian lives, and we will do that. But also we talk about God in the present, how God still is interacting with us and how he's still taking care of us as we pursue the calling he's put in our life within his will. So we're going to start our podcast under the banner of Blazing Apostles, because that's what we feel we have been over the last 40 years, and we continue to be that in the present and also in the future. Over 10 years ago, maybe about 15 years ago, we stopped running our bakery that we had called the Shoebox Bakehouse. We had the vision of having a bakery together when we lived in Keswick over 40 odd years ago. And then 15 years ago, we left the bakery and we transitioned into a bus driver's canteen, and then we moved up here. But some of the testimonies that we have that happened to us in the bakery are amazing, astounding, and they're not stories. They are God interacting with us, taking care of us as we pursued our calling. Yes, we did run a family bakery. It was our own bakery called the Shoebox Bakehouse. And our girls worked with us, and many other people worked with us in the time that we had it. We had it for about 8.5 years, and then we left it and moved on. So God really took care of us in that situation, because we came up against amazing obstacles that tried to stop us moving forward. And, God met the needs that we had. So Elaine's going to share with you one of the things that happened. We have to be careful that we keep these testimonies short and one at a time, or that can become a bit overwhelming.
So we had somebody in from the water board, because we were very concerned that our consumption of water was massively high, and they agreed with us. So they came in to have a look in the bakery and chat with us, and they told us that somewhere there has to be a leak from outside the front where the mains were through the bakery. There had to be a leak somewhere, and that's why we were using excessive water. So our water bill was massive. It was thousands a year. So they told us that we were responsible to get somebody in to sort the water leak out. So we asked some questions. Well, what are they going to do? How are they going to do it? And he said, well, they may have to drill all the way through at the floor to find out where the leak is, because nobody knew where the leak was or anything. And we were talking thousands and thousands of pounds. And Dave and I looked at each other. Number one, it's going to cost us thousands, which was a really big deal. And number two was they were going to have to drill through the bakery to find out where this leak was coming from, and it had to be sorted. So, we'd spoken about it for 2 or 3 days, what we're going to do. And
because we didn't have the money to pay for it.
No, we didn't have thousands to pay for it. And it was towards the end of an evening, the shop was shutting up. We still had this on our mind. We'd been praying about it, thinking about what we're going to do. 2 guys were outside the shop, and they'd lifted up the water cover, yeah. And I went out and said, oh, what are you doing? And they said, oh, well, we're subcontractors from the water board. We've got to check that the leak isn't coming from the water board, which they don't think it is, but they've sent us here to check it out. So I said, oh, so I could see the water tapping underneath. And he said, no, I'm sorry, love, it isn't coming from here. It's definitely coming from the bakery. And I'd said to these guys, oh, did you want to come in, have a cup of tea? And so they came in, had a cup of tea, and I offered them a cake, and we were chatting and everything. And I said to them that, we didn't know what we were going to do. And I relayed the message back to Dave saying, they've said that it's definitely our fault. the water board have come to check it up, and we were actually going to have to drill through. So Dave went upstairs, and I didn't know that he'd got on his knees and he was praying. So I'm chatting to these guys, offering them cake, and as they were about to leave, they said to me, do you have any idea where the water runs from through the bakery? And I said, no, I've got no idea. But I said, I don't know if my husband knows. He might know, because he said, we could drill. If you thought you knew, we could drill and maybe find the leak for you. And I was thinking, and I said, well, how much would that cost? And he said, well, we'll just charge you, a bit of quid, or we won't bother charging you anything. So I went upstairs and got Dave. He came down, and I think you talked to them a bit more about where you thought it could be, the water line.
We had an idea where the mains came in through the bakery at the back, through the front, and then where it went from into the back where the sinks were.
Yeah.
And we sort of roughly guessed where it could be, and then they said, okay, we'll take care of it.
And they drilled, and they drilled through concrete. They found the leak, and it was two pipes that were connected.
Really old pipes.
That's where the water was leaking. They went into their van and sealed it with something, didn't they? Like a plastic sealer.
Yeah, they did. They did put a plastic. They took out the corroded joint that was leaking. They replaced that with a plastic intersection, didn't they? So it connected everything together, and so in the future it wouldn't leak.
Yeah, and I think it took them not more than 15 minutes. Dave gave them some money to thank them, and all we had to do was got somebody in to cement it and cover it up, a professional person. But we were just totally amazed, because we had a big situation. We had no idea how we were going to handle it. We definitely didn't have the money. We definitely weren't expecting these subcontractors, because they weren't council people, didn't know they were coming. And actually, the fact that Dave had been upstairs on his knees praying about something, asking God to take care of it, and he took care of it. I mean, we were just totally and utterly amazed, because when we obviously contacted the water board and said, we've sorted it, they were pretty stunned themselves. Number one, that we'd actually found where the leak was, because they didn't know, and these were professional people that had come in to have a look, and they had no idea where the leak was. So
yeah, I mean, it was
amazing.
I mean, we still remember, we remember all our testimonies. I think we remember them all. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I just remembered one when you were talking about that, when you were talking about donuts. We'll leave that for another time. Yeah, I mean, it's what we talked about in our Saturday conversations recently, that you fear that you're going to be crippled financially because professional people are telling you one thing, and you're thinking, well, I'm going to lift it up to God. He'll take care of it. He'll supersede what you're telling me, because he's our Heavenly Father. We're his sons. He wants to take care of us. He will take care of us within his will, and he'll take care of us as long as we are doing the things he called us to do. Yes, we had a bakery and we were working for ourselves, but we ran a Christian fellowship above the bakery in the lounge, because we lived above the bakery. So our lounge was where we held our Christian fellowships, and we were also connected to a local church. So it wasn't a case of, God, help me, I'm doing nothing for you, but you still got to help me. No, yeah. God took care of us because we were doing the things that he's called us to do. And the fact that it just didn't hardly cost us anything. I think I gave him £100.
Yeah, but the thing was, the thing that was so amazing about it is it would be never something we would think about how to deal with it. It's like you're asking God to help you in a situation. You have no idea how that's going to be sorted, because you can only go by your senses. And that's what's so amazing.
Yeah, and that's what faith is, isn't it? Faith. Yeah. You can't see what the answer is, but if you step out in believing, the answer's there. These two guys hanging around outside the shop, brought them in, talked to them. I was praying to God to take care of the situation, and look, he took care of it. Well, I have no idea how that would resolve itself. Whether it would cost us thousands, and we didn't have that money, but God sorted it out. He put I don't know, he put it on their heart to take care of us, didn't he? And they took care of us.
Absolutely great, absolutely.
And they
Really
did such a
wonderful.
great job, and we never had a problem with that that league ever again. But look what we did. We looked to God for the answer. And that's the key in any life situations that you face. Don't fear it. You know, you're filled with Holy Spirit. Look to God. You're connected to Him. Look to Him for the answers. And these testimonies will prove to you that if you do look to God for the answers, He will answer whatever situation you're in. He will take care of you as long as you're within His will and you're doing the things He called you to do. And that's just one of the things that we always remember of that situation, how it just came out of nowhere. These guys took care of it, but we were looking to Him to resolve the situation for us, and he did that. So we hope, while sharing these testimonies with you on our Blazing Apostles video podcast, which you'll find on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Back to Basic Christian Living, that they give you inspiration, motivation, they bless you, they encourage you for you to walk out in faith. And if you're faced with a situation that it seems overwhelming, that you can't see an answer to, then look to Him and He will take care of you. So, God bless. And we will be with you on the next one. We might not be in such a beautiful location as Keswick near the lakeside.
Hopefully.
We're starting to boil because it's so hot.
Yeah.
And the flies are a bit itchy. Yeah, but we'll see you next time, wherever we are, and we'll give you another wonderful testimony how God can take care of you if you look to Him. So, my name is Dave.
And my name's Elaine. I'm married to Dave.
You are, and this is Blazing Apostles. God bless.